Thank you for joining me for ISIQ's Leadership Beat. I'm Teri Fisher, CEO and Managing Partner of Insight Strategies. Today's focus is on the millennial generation. The reason we've chosen this topic is because in our consulting work, we're finding that there's an issue that's percolating between the millennial generation and those that lead the millennial generation. We recently came across a report, it's called the Millennial Branding Report, that goes on to substantiate some of what we're seeing out there. And that is that in this report, it's found that employers of millennials are tending to have a negative view of that generation. Some of the things that are propagating those negative opinions has to do with the perception that there are unrealistic compensation expectations, a perception about work ethic that doesn't quite align with their own, and then the third thing is that distraction comes into the mix. Now, in our consulting work, Insight Strategies consulting work, we are also finding a couple of other things along with those perceptions, and that is a frequent need by millennials to have more real-time feedback and recognition more frequently. And the other thing that we're noticing is that the lines of hierarchy tend to be a little more blurred with that generation, in that it's not uncommon for someone within the millennial generation to feel very comfortable popping off an email to, let's say, a VP of the organization. And that can come across as very strange to someone who's in the, let's say, the boomer generation, where hierarchy is much more subscribed to and respected. So those are some of the things that are causing some of the disconnect out there between the millennial generation and those that are leading the millennials. I have 5 ISIQ tips for you to consider starting tomorrow, or maybe today. The first one is this. One thing that will absolutely keep us from being successful in leading the millennial generation is our judgment. The minute you catch yourself judging them for any one of those things that I've just discussed, catch yourself. That in and of itself is going to keep you from being the great leader that you really can be in terms of being able to motivate. Catch yourself from judging, notice it, and stop. The second thing is this. Make sure you're aligning your communication and any sort of engagement that you have with millennials in the way that they want to be communicated with. So, for example, send off a text every once in a while, okay? You'll earn some street cred by doing that with the millennials. So just make sure, align to them, and that's one way that you can do that. The third thing is this. Connect any task that you give them to purpose, to meaning, to what it ties into the bigger picture. They want to do meaningful work, so make sure they know what they're doing connects to that bigger picture. The fourth thing, be very concrete and specific about the goals that you want them to accomplish. And the fifth one is about making sure that within those goals, you're providing real-time and frequent feedback as well as recognition. Give them a little bit of love along the way. So you might be thinking, isn't that a lot of work? Not really. It's an opportunity for you to stretch your leadership muscles and align to a part of the workplace, the people within the workplace that are the future of your organization. So the more that you can align, the more that you can make them feel important, offer them that frequent feedback and recognition, you're going to get a much more productive employee. You're going to get someone who's loyal and someone who feels connected to you and will walk over broken glass for you. So those are some of the things that you'll benefit from. Thank you for joining me on the ISIQ Leadership Beat, where we raise the bar on leadership intelligence.
Stay tuned for more ISIQ Leadership Beats, where Teri expands on how to implement ISIQ's 5 tips and part 2 of the series, where millennials can learn how to manage up.